I am Jordan Benson, and I am in Westchester, Pennsylvania, in the house that I grew up in.
My name is Jose Villegas. You can also call me Josh. We're at my dearest church, Doulos for Christ.
Well, I'm Jesse Thomas. I'm the grandfather of Sage, and we're at my home in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We moved here in 1988. We had been searching for more of the Spirit of God than what we were getting in the church in Suffolk. So we founded at Rock, and so we were there for about 22 years. So I grew up with no celebrations of any kind. It was work 7 days a week. My dad was extremely abusive, both physically and mentally, emotionally, and I never celebrated a birthday ever, or celebrated anything during my childhood. And I remember one time my father forbid me to come into the house, forbid me to come home. So I picked blackberries, blew the dust off of the blackberries, and that's what I ate until my mother got home. And the only time my mother ever stepped in and really stood up to my father on my behalf, that was the only time. And she told him, "Don't you ever forbid my son to come home ever again." And he never did.
Would I say I feel at home in this house? I would say no. I grew up in this house. I've lived here my whole life. My parents and my older sister moved in when my mom was pregnant with me, so literally been here for over 20 years. But just there was a lot of times where I would come back home and I was like, I just would want to be somewhere else. Like this just didn't feel like home to me. Well, growing up, I've been a dancer for a long time, and so I went to dance classes like 4 times a week, and I loved those. I started when I was like 3, I think. So I did that till like my senior year of high school. So pretty much my whole life was spent in a dance studio, but I loved it. I taught dance as well, so I did that for fun. Took piano lessons as well. I really enjoyed that. I love music. I spent a lot of times like at the piano, even just like writing music that is not good, but writing music and just like singing, it was really helpful for me and I really loved it. I was bullied a lot in high school, especially from the people like at my church and the dance company that I went to. These are people who are supposed to like love the Lord and love others, but it felt like the very opposite for me. I was very much so like, okay, I have to change to like fit this mold so that way people will like me. But instead I was just very depressed and very like, I had a lot of self-hatred. We've always had like family members like living in our house like since I was little, or even just like family friends who needed like a place to stay in our guest room or something. I don't remember the last time it was just me, my sister, my mom, and my dad. I longed to like just have us. When we had my grandma living with us, she had diabetes and dementia and bipolar disorder. And so one of us always had to be home to like watch her and take care of her. That was during my senior year when I was like very depressed, and so it was like, okay, I can't even go anywhere, and I also don't even have people to go out with. I feel like I'm always like hosting all the time and I can't just stop and be myself. I saw a lot of things that, you know, no child should see, or that like could be considered as traumatic, and so I think that seeing a lot of things like that has made me a stronger person. I remember when I was in that place of feeling really depressed and feeling a lot of self-hatred, and it was like, well, I didn't have like the truth of the Lord like inside, so I didn't have anything to be like, no, like the Lord says that I'm like fearfully and wonderfully made. But now on the other side, I'm like, okay, like I may still sometimes struggle with like identity, but I'm like, honestly, like I know like what the word says and like what the Lord says about me, even if I'm not still fully like haven't fully believed it. I think at school, that's a place where I've grown so much and I feel safe like sharing parts of myself and like sharing parts of my story with people. And the friends that I have now, as opposed to like the friends that I had here, are just very supportive and very encouraging of me. And so I think that's where I feel at home.
first it was my dad, but he moved here because he had to take some surgery. He was here for Operation Smile, but he had a tumor on his chin. It grew very big to the part where like there's a little opening on the bottom, and then people thought he was cursed or something. So he went to Operation Smile, and they found him, and they brought him to the States to do an operation because they couldn't do it in the Philippines. So then ever since then, my dad just found this place, and he stayed since then. And then my mom came along out of nowhere because she was a nurse, so she took the test to come to the States, and she found this place here. And so my dad became the worship leader for this church right across the street. There's an old building there. Definitely this place feels like a second home to me, just because I did grow up here, and I just feel comfortable, you know. I don't feel out of place. I just feel this is the place where I can be me. I spend my time here, not just because of ministry, but just because I know I'm called to be here. So being here makes me feel welcomed. Like wherever the Lord is at, yeah, that still feels like home. My dad was a worship leader, but even before that, he wasn't a worship leader. He was a guitar player. He also made his own songs. You know, I wasn't really that into the guitars as before, because I was like, dang, there's so many strings. I can't really hit all those notes because my hand was small. I'm like, oh, I gotta stretch or something. I'm like, no, thank you. So the first instrument that I played was the drums. And they knew I could keep a rhythm and a beat, so they gave me the pots and pans. The drummers know what I'm talking about. They got the pots and the pans, and you got like the wooden spoons. You start banging, clanging them. My parents bought me even bongos, not the real ones, but like the kid ones. But that stuck with me. My hunger for worship and the music grew. I have an image of a piano that my dad played even before I was born, and it's here in this church. And I knew how to play it because when I was having time with the Lord, when I spent time with the Lord, when I went through some stuff, you know, so it's funny because sometimes when we go through things, we go to the Lord, and then that's where we encounter Him even more, whether it's through heartbreaks or stuff like that. That key, the piano over there, that's where I pour out my heart to the Lord, and that's how I learned how to play the piano. When I write music, it all starts from me just like worshiping or even singing random melodies, which happens to be here in this very place, or even at home. But majority of the time I sit there at the keys when no one's here. Even before the doors are open before service, like maybe I just need to spend time with the Lord, I just sit behind the keys and I start playing, and then new melodies start coming out. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter where my house is, maybe anywhere it can be. But if the presence of the Lord is there, then I'm fine. I mean, like that, without it, it feels empty.
And how did you meet Grandma?
You're not going to believe this, but this was in 1971. We met on a computer dating service, and we just hang out, watch TV, and just enjoy each other's company. Just trying to get to know each other. And then on her birthday, March the 22nd, I proposed to her and gave her an engagement ring Sunday, May the 2nd of 1971. And that's the date we got married. Your dad was born in April the 24th of 1972. My wife was born with a birth defect of cerebral palsy, and it degenerated over the years. We celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary May the 2nd of 2021. We had to celebrate it outside in the backyard with our family and friends. She was confined to a hospital bed here at home since 2017 until finally November the 2nd of 21 of this past year, she went on to be with the Lord. The Lord really gave us what I would say 45 tremendous years with our son, with your dad. And just the last 4 to 5 years was a tremendous strain on both of us. It's really hard. You don't understand how difficult it is. You take your home for granted until you actually lose much of what your home means to you. And I really felt dislocated because I was pretty much a stranger in my own home. And even though I'm here by myself now, it's really a blessing because I finally realized how important your home is to you, because you never know when you will lose much of what your home means to you. Part of our daily prayer was, Lord, let this home be a place of peace and an invitation that people would feel comfortable, feel loved, feel appreciated, no matter their culture, no matter where they came from, no matter their background, no matter their religious affiliation, no matter their walk in life, no matter their financial condition. Let it be a place of warmth and invitation where they will feel loved and appreciated and accepted for who they are.
I think I would tell myself that like family is forever, but people do die and people pass away. And so you never know like when that's gonna happen. And so like make the best of every moment with every person that you have and cherish the ones that you love. And I think that home isn't always just where family is, but home is where the people that you love are and the people that support you are.
But I say go to the Lord because then He will reveal it to you what a family should look like, right? What it looks like to love, to show grace, to be a father, to be a mother, to be a child, and to work as a family.
Let the love of God rule and reign. Because where love rules and reigns, it's hard to be upset. It's difficult to be difficult. It's difficult to be at odds with each other, where love truly is ruling and reigning in a household.
You got anything to say, Sage?
Welcome home.
Good.
Isn't that good?
Very good, yeah.
Thank you very much.
See, but that music, didn't it?
That's what I was singing it to her for.